Sin bins and blue cards all set to be introduced by IFAB later on today. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to centre around the big announcement that is set to be made by IFAB, the International Football Association Board, later on today. And they are set to announce that the inclusion of blue cards and sin bins could be further escalated into the professional game as early as potentially next season. This is all in an attempt by IFAB to kind of cancel out the growing cause for concern that they see in their eyes as being the abuse, disrespect and dissent towards referees of all levels. And although that sin bins have been introduced at grassroots level for a number of years now, it seems that IFAB want to take this a step further by introducing it into the professional game. And obviously that could potentially mean that grows from there, and maybe we could be seeing the introduction of blue cards and sin bins into the elite end of the spectrum of this sport that we all know and love. Maybe one day the Premier League will have these two things that are set to be introduced by IFAB later on today at their meeting or their whatever it is. Anyway, that is what is the big story going around today. That's what we're going to be talking about today in this video. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And of course, get involved in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts and feelings are on this potential introduction and change to the laws of the game. Blue cards and sin bins are the ones that are taking the main headlines. So let me know what you guys think and feel. Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it will make for great and interesting reading down below. So let me know what your thoughts are there. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk IFAB and let's talk blue cards and sin bins. First and foremost, isn't it a bit stupid? Blue cards. Any kid that's currently going through nursery will tell you the colour between red and yellow is orange. So surely the cards should have been orange. Or am I just being stupid there? Am I just being stupid? Shouldn't that have been the better idea to have as a card? Anyway, that's insignificant in comparison to the rest of the stuff. Look, sin bins, from my understanding, sin bins have been introduced at grassroots level for a number of years now. They're there because IFAB want to tackle this growing aggression towards referees, and they say like these kinds of things may be a deterrent to that, and they may obviously help players calm down, may help everybody calm down, and it may obviously be seen by referees as a tool to use to obviously diffuse situations and to obviously reduce the risk of abuse and things of that nature cropping up in the modern game. That's been introduced at a grassroots level, and IFAB want to take it a step further and bring it into the more professional game. Now, if you've obviously been paying attention to things like this, and you've obviously been hearing about sin bins and things for a while, you'll know that obviously this seems to have been a sort of issue on the agenda of IFAB for a while. This has always been lingering in the background. If you go back and you obviously read a few articles and things, you'll obviously know that things like this have constantly been said, whether it's by pundits or whether it's just by referees and things like that. This has seemingly been something that has been pushed for a while. So it's no surprise that obviously this is now coming into focus, and this is obviously now becoming an apparent thing within the professional game. But dear, oh dear, how stupid is all of this? The blue card, let's talk about the blue card first. Okay, the blue card, there are a few things to this. There are things about mixing the colour of the cards. So like 2 blues will make a red, 1 yellow and 1 blue would make a red, or whatever the case may be. That's what they're talking about. Like I say, apart from the colour of the card, which I've already moaned about aside, adding another card to the game is not going to help your referees get better. It really isn't. The sin bin thing, look, obviously those two things go hand in hand. The sin bin thing, it may work in other sports. I don't necessarily think it would work in the modern game of football. I think it would be too disruptive in a world in which VAR already disrupts the game as much as it is. Do you really need another element to add to the mix that can further disrupt the game? Is it really going to stop players from getting annoyed and fighting their case and pleading with the referee that he was wrong, which 9 times out of 10 he probably was wrong because it's a referee and they're not very good? Is that going to be the case here? Because it's not going to help the game. It will further disrupt it, surely. The whole idea of bringing in these blue cards is because they want to escalate it now to cynical fouls. Their argument is that cynical fouls disrupt the game and cynical fouls are an annoyance to the opposition, to the team that's obviously been on the attack and obviously had that cut short by a cynical foul. And they want to introduce these blue cards for that purpose. That doesn't help. Like, that does not help. Because all you'll get then is a blue card. The guy will sit out for 10 minutes, which is the time period that they're saying for these sin bins. The guy will sit out for 10 minutes. The team will just go ultra defensive for 10 minutes and launch counterattacks. And then the guy will be introduced back into the field and play will resume as normal. It will disrupt the game more. Why can they not see that? It will disrupt the game more in terms of you giving the decision. It will disrupt the game more in terms of the flow of the game. And it won't really be much of an advantage. It really won't. And the whole idea is that cynical fouls will stop. Again, no, because teams can survive with 10 players on the pitch. Teams might not survive a counter-attack in which the opposition team may be 4v1 on your goal. So it won't stop cynical fouls in that sense. Blue cards, to me, the colour's wrong. The idea's wrong, and the sin bins are wrong. And let's for a moment say, like, the whole sin bin thing. Like, this season in the Premier League has been one of the worst in terms of refereeing displays. And I think we probably said that last season. And we probably said it the season before. It doesn't seem to be improving. So why, oh why, please tell me in your infinite wisdom, are you bringing in another card to give to the referee to use as a tool for their preparation, as a tool for their game, when they can't even get yellow and red cards right? That's the underlying factor here. The fact that these referees are getting worse and worse seemingly by the year, but yet you're just giving them another card to use at their pleasure, to use for things like cynical fouls, dissent. You've put so much effort into the dissent laws this season in terms of abuse, throwing away the ball, kicking the ball away, yelling at referees, yelling at officials, that kind of thing. But yet you use that so sporadically, and it's used for one game, and then it's not used for the next game, and it's used 1 minute, and then 10 minutes later someone else will do the same thing, and it's not used then. You've put so much display into that dissent law that you've been using so hit and miss, so irregularly and so inconsistently this season. You're set to introduce a blue card for a sin bin for what is perceived to be a cynical foul. Well, the amount of times that this season alone, or the previous season, or however many seasons ago you want to go back, we have seen cynical fouls that have been that have been penalised by the referee, but not be given a card at all, and yet you're wanting to introduce this card for those types of fouls. I don't get the logic here. You're not going to improve anything just by giving the referee another card to use, just by giving them another form of punishment to dish out for inconsistent reasons throughout the entirety of the game. You're giving them another card to use that players can turn around and go, well, again, you used it wrong. You're crap. You're terrible. You're this. You're that. You're the other. It's not going to help the game. It's not going to help calm and diffuse situations. It's going to be another tool that you can use to go, the referee's in charge, he's the authority, You go against him, he can do whatever he wants. It's not helping referees. Aid your referees first by improving their standards and then start giving them these things. And the only way, by the way, a blue card works is if you're going to lower the threshold for fouls, which we've been told time and time again. The threshold for what is a foul and what is not a foul has risen. We constantly are told that the threshold is constantly rising in terms of what is and what isn't a foul. And yet we still see yellow cards be given for the most stupid or weakest of fouls, or what you consider to be fouls, for the weakest of tackles, fouls, whatever. Look at what happened on Sunday with Kanate. Look at what happened on Sunday with Kanate, where he picks up 2 extremely soft yellow cards. And then look at what happened with Gabriel in the same game. He picks up a yellow card and then he fouls Darwin Núñez on the halfway line. A cynical foul, and the referee did nothing. The referee didn't give him another yellow. The referee didn't send him off. The referee did absolutely nothing. So you tell me how you think blue cards and sin bins are going to improve the standard of refereeing when we've got referees like that. We've got referees that are not in constant communication with each other. For the Liverpool-Tottenham absolute debacle with Luis Diaz's goal, which was perfectly onside but wasn't. Tell me how it works when you get red cards to the likes of Gusto, Curtis Jones. Tell me how you think it works when you get all of these things combined in games. Because it's not just Liverpool, it's not just Manchester United, it's not just Arsenal, it's not just Newcastle, it's not just Man City, it's everybody involved in this that is going to have an issue with these kinds of matters. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you introduce. Introduce all the sin bins you want, or introduce all the blue cards and green cards and purple cards and pink cards and orange cards and all the other cards that you want. At the end of the day, if the standards of refereeing is not up to code, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. The poor standards will be there, the mistakes will constantly happen, and rather than look at other laws, by the way, rather than look at, I don't know, maybe the offside law and maybe thinking like, how can we maybe change that and modify it slightly to improve it? Rather than look at the handball law, how do we make the handball law clear and obvious? Rather than look at fouls and penalties and the usage of VAR and everything else in between, rather than do all of that stuff and look at it and try and go through it bit by bit and try and clarify those laws. No. We're not going to do that. Instead, we are going to introduce more ridiculous stuff that is going to be given to referees, and then we can use to beat over the referee, to beat referees over the head with, because they're not going to be able to use it right, because the training is poor, the standards are poor, the officiating is terrible, and it gets worse and worse and worse every single season. That's it. Look at what happened with Arsenal Newcastle. Look at what happened with Liverpool Tottenham. Look at what's happened with the number of red cards that have been given this season, the number of yellow cards that have been given this season for the inconsistent usage of dissent laws and things of that nature. Just look at the complete chaotic mess. In particular, the Premier League, which prides itself on being the best league in the world. Look at the chaotic mess of the Premier League this season in terms of the officiating, the yellow cards, the red cards, and everything else in between. And then you tell me why you think it is the right call to make for sin bins and blue cards to be introduced within the game at a professional, high, elite level. And tell me why you think it's right. Because I don't, for one, understand it. But it will get done. They've been so persistent about it, and like I say, they have been so seemingly adamant that these kinds of things get pushed through into the professional game, into the high level of the game, that it will be here soon. It definitely will. They'll trial it. They'll put it in certain cup competitions. They'll try it at the lower levels of English football and things, and lower levels of football maybe elsewhere around the world as well. But one day, it will get to the Premier League. even if it's a complete failure down below, they'll find some clever way of twisting it and turning it and making it so that one day it does reach the Premier League, because the people at the top do not have a clue what they are doing. So there you have it. Sin bins and blue cards. It's not here right now completely. The Premier League are not going to be involved in the initial trialing stages of this new this new policy set by IFAB, and it's going to be set by IFAB later on today. But there you have it. It will be probably here one day, and it's not going to be great, in all honesty, unless there is a clearer way that these things are going to be introduced. There is a clearer way to obviously the usage of sin bins, and there's a clearer way of the usage of the blue cards situation. And not only that, of course, but there is an improvement in the terms, levels, and the officiating of today's referees. Because without that, anything that you introduce, whether it be a good idea or whether it be a bad idea, is not going to work if you don't have the people that are in place and at a high enough level to implement them. That's my overall point here. That is all I'll say on the matter. These are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of the new laws set by IFAB later on today to implement blue cards and sin bins? Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, down below in the comment section, because I'm sure it'll make for interesting and great reading. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will soon speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers guys, thanks everyone for stopping by and watching. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.